Hello, Northwood fans. Travis McCurdy here, joined by volleyball head coach Tim Koth. It's opening week, so we're going to talk to all the coaches heading into this season. And, Coach, you guys are coming off a great season, gliac champions, gliac tournament champions. What happened so well last year, and how do you hope to carry that over to this year?
Well, I mean, we played real hard. Things fell our way. We got a couple of early season wins that were confidence boosters for our team here at home, and just kept it rolling from there and just kind of found a rhythm, and we're pretty successful in the end from that.
Coming into this season, obviously the key player for the Timberwolves, Julia Pagano from last year, gliac player of the year, All-American. She was battling some injuries in the offseason. How is she looking, and what do you expect to see from her this season?
Yeah, well, she played all season last year with an ACL injury. We had it repaired in December, and so the entire spring season she spent rehabbing that. She's fit right now. She's gone through just the normal soreness, maybe a little bit more than a normal person would, just because she hadn't trained live like this for a while. But she's good. I expect her, to be honest with you, maybe to even be a better volleyball player than she was last year, because she'll actually be playing with two knees this year. So.
You do have a lot of other key players back. Jordan Dunn was second team All-Gliac. Ali Humayun was honorable mention All-Gliac. Kristen Pershant, Gliac All-Tournament team. Talk about those players, and what do you hope to see from them this season?
Well, I just hope that we can continue their trend. I mean, when they came here as freshmen, the idea was we had a large core of freshmen that we wanted to develop over the course of 4 years, that we figured by the time they were juniors, we hoped that they would be able to get us back to that point where we were last year. So I'm hoping for more of the same. From an individual standpoint, we're going to need Kristen Pershant to be a bigger factor for us offensively and defensively at the net than she was last year. Ali, I know, is going to be a bigger influence. She had a great end of the season, and we wanted to start the same way that she ended last year, and she's certainly worked really hard to get there. And Jordan Dunn just needs to continue to grow as a setter. She's gone from a setter who didn't believe that she could run a 5-1 offense as a freshman to where I think she might be the best setter in the conference. I'm sure there's some people who will argue that, but I honestly believe that she is in that category, and I think she's going to take a big step forward as well.
Talk about some of the other returning players coming back this year, maybe some players from the team back this year that maybe are going to take a big step forward that we haven't seen in the past.
Well, we've had a continuing battle for the last couple of years at the defensive specialist and libero spot, and last year Erin Humayun had kind of won that role as our libero, and Elizabeth, who had been a 2-year starter, kind of played more of a defensive specialist and backup libero role. They've both improved significantly, and at this point Elizabeth is actually back in as the starting libero, and Erin is probably going to be a starter from a serving and defensive player specialist for us. We've changed our system just a little bit out of serve receive, and that would have both of those two players on the floor for us at the same time, and take a little bit of pressure off of our left side attackers having to pass as well. So I think we'll see a little bit more out of them. I think Cassie Marsh started the season as a freshman last year, really wasn't sure what she was getting herself into, but she's worked really hard. She's a stronger player this year physically, and a more mature player on the court, and I expect that you'll see quite a bit from her, and she's fun to watch. She enjoys the game, has a lot of passion for what she does, and that shows when she plays.
You did lose a couple of players that were important players for over their careers, Zina Lubomova and Tatiana Reich. But I feel like you got some newcomers coming in, and with the other players, that you're going to be able to replace those positions well with what you've got.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no question. Both of those two ladies were important volleyball players to us. They were very skilled volleyball players and experienced volleyball players. I think that's what we'll lose from them, but I think what we add is more athleticism in the players that are replacing them on the floor. Right now, we expect that Krista Kramer, sophomore outside, is going to replace Zina. Very physical, extremely athletic left side, just a little bit rawer than Zina in terms of experience. And in the middle, I think Cassie's going to probably step into that role, and freshman newcomer Marissa Palmaville is a big athletic middle, very agile for 6'2", and as she gets a little bit more comfortable with the collegiate game, I think you're going to see a lot out of her on the court as well.
This week, you start your season, start with the defending runner-up from last year in Tampa and other really good schools. How do you feel like that non-conference schedule is going to get you ready for the GLIAC?
Well, I mean, last year we thought we played a pretty strong non-conference schedule. This year we tried to amp it up just a little bit more, just to make sure that we were playing elite level competition. And what a better way to start than the team that was in the national championship match last year. They lost their national player of the year, but they gained a transfer from the University of Florida, who was actually one of the top recruits in the country the previous year. So I expect them to be really loaded and athletic and explosive. And it's a measuring stick to see where we're at and what we need to do better, and how far we've come in some areas, and that's what's going to prepare us for the gliac. Travel against great competition, and that experience of playing against those types of teams on a consistent basis is what's going to get us ready for the top teams in gliac.
One final question. Let's talk about the gliac. It's always such a competitive league from top to bottom, and sure looks like it's shaping up to be that way again.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I've said this a couple times to the paper and to a few other people. I think it's very possible we could be a better volleyball team this year than we were last year when it comes to postseason time. But that's not necessarily going to translate to the same victories this year, because I think the league is deeper. I think the traditional teams that are always good are going to be really good this year. Hillsdale is going to be very strong, coming off a year where they had a really young team last year, made a nice run at the end of the year. Grand Valley and Ferris State, both perennial powers, and both, in my opinion, are going to be loaded. In the South, Ashland, Wayne State, both I think are going to be good programs, and I think they both feel that they're going to be in the hunt for the gliac championship as well this year, and we're going to be there too. So I think it's going to be a great year in the gliac, maybe one of the best we've had in quite some time in terms of national recognition as we get out and play other teams, and and in terms of the NCAA regional at the end of the year as well.
Well, Tim, thanks for joining us, and good luck this week down in Florida.
Thank you very much, and I do have to send out a happy birthday shout out to you, T-Mac, because it's the day today. So happy birthday to you, and thanks so much.
And thank you for watching.